Hey everyone, thanks for being back. My name is Kirsten. This is Crowdfunding Uncut, the show and podcast. Thanks in advance for liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video. I have a little bit of a cold, so I may not sound as beautiful as you're used to, but in our last video, we covered the number one mistake that project creators make when crowdfunding. And as a very quick recap, if you don't want to go back to the previous video, we cannot launch a project on Indiegogo or Kickstarter and just assume that because they have thousands of people coming to their site every day that that's going to help you get funded. It's not. You actually have to build the audience yourself and have a bit of momentum before you can actually take advantage of the crowdfunding community and start to rank on their website. So today's video is going to talk about step one of building your audience. And it seems pretty obvious, but not a lot of people do this. And it is the idea of creating a customer avatar. So what is a customer avatar? A customer avatar is literally creating a persona or a profile of who you think will buy your product or support your cause. It's really something that sounds kind of creepy, but you should create a personality of who this person is and put it up on your wall. And the reason this is so important and why this is something that very few people go to do is they want tangible marketing. They want to throw up a landing page. They want to drive some like ads to the page and build an email list. But the problem with that is it's kind of like taking gum and throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. Why don't you reduce your margin of error and save yourself a lot of ad spend by actually figuring out who exactly you want to target? So, how do we do that? Now, I just have a little bit of a disclaimer to make before you do this. I understand that a lot of people will tell you that you shouldn't make assumptions, you shouldn't guess and put ad spend behind a guess. But I'm telling you right now that you have to start guessing who is your customer before you can test interest, before you could drive traffic to anything. When I was on TapLock, the smart padlock that you open with the fingerprint, we had to make a guess of who we thought our top 3 customer profiles were before we can go out into the world and find these people. And we made the assumption that people that would purchase their product would be, just think of who uses a padlock. Like the number 1 would be gym users, number 2, students, number 3 could be anyone with storage unit, we'll say. And what we did was we actually used that information and we figured out, okay, great, where would these people hang out? And let's go start talking to those customers. This is for another video, I'm aware. But we can't test assumptions if we don't make assumptions to begin with. So that's what being at ground zero is about, is figuring out who you think and then going out and actually testing it. So I do not want to see you create an avatar and assume that that is your customer, because if you make assumptions, you're probably going to be very, very wrong, because you have something like I like to call founder blindness, and that it's tunnel vision for you and you think your project is the best thing, but you actually have to go out and find those people. So disclaimer, this is just the beginning and you do have to consistently iterate your avatar as you prepare for your campaign. So how do we make it? The whole point of having a customer avatar is so that when you are looking to build your email list, keep in mind that most of this is online if you have a physical product or something. And if you're building an email list, you need to attract people to come to your landing page so that they sign up for your email list. How you do that is you have to kind of reverse engineer the process. What you're looking to do is figure out, okay, if I need to market to these people and bait them to come to my landing page and get them interested in what I'm doing, where do I find these people online? Where do I advertise to them? What kind of blog content do I have to put out there? All these questions are answered and very simple when you have an avatar. So that's really why we have an avatar, so we can figure out exactly who this person is and where we can find them online, and then how can we get them to our landing page and get them involved in our project and essentially start to build our tribe. Let me give you a little analogy that may or may not apply to you. So just say you are sick of online dating and you want to try to actually target where your ideal mate would be. So in the dating world, what we would do is you would write down a list of qualities that you're looking for. And if the most important quality to you is that they're living an active, healthy lifestyle, you might look at gyms, fitness centers, you might look at triathlon clubs, bike clubs, hiking clubs, depending on what your interests are and they align with that person. But if you don't take a second to actually write down and think about what you're looking for, then this is where you're gonna get a lot of frustration and waste a lot of time on Tinder, in bars, in the wrong places. You will probably never find the person that you are looking for, or if you do, it's gonna take a while. Just gross overstatement, but you're a lot likely to find what you're looking for if you narrow down what exactly it is you're looking for and then go to the watering hole. So how do we create the perfect avatar? Rule number 1, be specific. Let's bring in another analogy. So I'm in London, England right now, and my absolute favorite Mexican restaurant here is Oaxaca. It's known for its street food and serves it in very small portions. So you end up, instead of getting one giant meal, you can get 3 to 4 plates and share it. And it is awesome. Now, every time I come to London or am looking for great Mexican food, that is the first place that I think of. I think of it because it's specific and it's known for something. It's known for its Mexican cuisine. So just say you are looking to start a restaurant here in London, Canada, wherever you are. And if you do what a lot of people do, which is trying to sell to everyone. So you're trying to make your product be interesting to everyone. So in restaurant terms, that would be creating a menu that has a lot of cuisines. You might have over 100 menu items. You'll serve American food, you'll serve English food, you'll serve Mexican food. But the thing is that you're being a generalist. And unfortunately, if you want to stand out in somebody's mind when they are looking for a good restaurant, you are just going to be the generic brand, and that's not going to help you stand out among the crowd. So the trick with this, in terms of creating an avatar, is to be super specific with what you are, with who you are creating. Rule number 2 is, if you're stressing out right now because this video is getting you to think, who is my one perfect customer and what do they look like? Don't worry, you can actually create separate customer avatars, and I encourage you to do that. You can have up to 10. I would recommend that you don't try to cater to all different kinds of personalities, but pick your top 3, because 3 is manageable, or at least 1, depending on your resources. So once you're specific, here are some questions you can ask yourself to craft the perfect avatar. So the first thing is give them a personality. Now, what I mean by that is search Google Images and give them a photo. The second thing is give them a name. Your avatar has to be as real as possible. It also has to be as detailed as possible. So the thing that when you're creating an avatar, don't just create a personality. You have to link it to your project, because part of what you're doing is getting into the customer's brain and figuring out why they would be interested in your offering. What need is it solving for them? Okay, you can't just say Randy is a chocolate maker, because what does that have to do with your project? Okay, it has to link, and there has to be a story relating to how your project is going to help his life, or why he would be interested in it. So if you're doing a creative campaign where it's not a physical product, what is it about your theater production, your movie, your cause why they would be interested in that? So we got a name, we got a photo, we have an occupation, how much they make, where do they live, how old are they married, single, do they have a family, what are their frustrations, what do they really love to do. In terms of length, if you can write a page on one avatar, that is perfect. An example from another campaign that we're preparing to launch in the fall is for Jamstack. Now, Jamstack is a portable electric guitar amplifier. So we have people who only play electric guitar would be interested. But when we look at the different avatars we can look at, we're thinking, why would somebody want a portable amplifier? And so when we look at the qualities that the product has, one can be professional musicians. One can be, because we can sync Jamstack with the current apps that are out there, like Musician, for example, we can take this and target aspiring guitar players, so people who want to start to learn, but without the cost of all the expensive guitar accessories. So these are just some examples of different demographics and different avatars that we can create around different use cases for it. And of course, the language we use in emails, landing page, ad copy, and even when we're talking to people, it's going to be very different depending on if it's a professional musician looking to buy this or if it's a beginner looking to buy this. So very different. And this is also why at the very beginning of a campaign, before we even do anything, we have to figure out who we are talking to, or else everything is just going to be like a waste of time. In summary, good avatar has a personality, a name, a face, is at least a page long, and is very specific. And you should create multiple avatars if you, like me, have different kinds of people who would buy your product. The second thing is bad avatar is not specific, doesn't have a name, is very high level. A great example is my average customer has a startup. That's freaking terrible. So get specific, and that is going to help you. In terms of how to apply this, print out your avatar on a piece of paper with a nice pretty photo. And what you're going to do is every time you are creating a blog, a landing page, emails, anytime you are speaking to your customer, have their face in front of you. You can't see my wall, but like in front of you. So stay tuned. Next week, we are getting into how to actually use your customer avatar to start building your email list, how to identify where your customer is, where some influencers are online, and how to start building your pitch list or your media list before you start reaching out to people. So that is going to be next week. In the meantime, if you can't wait for resources, head over to that. You can get the Crowdfunding Toolkit. It is loaded with not only favorite episodes from the podcast with actionable content, but you also get the 5 things that you can do today to start building your email list. And you can just get that by either clicking on the box you see to the right, or by going to crowdfundinguncut.com. Or if you are on your phone, in the US, text UNCUT to 66866 and you will be automatically added to the list where you can take advantage of those free resources. Apart from that, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me.